Good morning, everyone. My name is Kurt Brazier. I'm a senior alumni rep along with my partner. Good morning. It's our pleasure as a senior alumni board representative to welcome you all to the 8th Annual Alumni Leadership Day.
As senior alumni reps, we represent the student body for the alumni board. We attend alumni board meetings 4 times a year to give a report to the board members about what has been happening around the school. We also assist in the annual fund solicitation.
For the past 8 years, Alumni Leadership Day has brought outstanding alumni to campus to spend time with the senior class as we consider life after Kinkaid. Alumni take time off of work to share their knowledge and experiences with us as we are thinking about the next step after Kinkaid. We're so lucky that so many wonderful volunteers are willing to take a vacation day or a few hours off of work to spend this time with us. Please be as appreciative and
enthusiastic of their time, and please ask them about their panel sessions. Whether you want to ask them about specific colleges they attended, internships, their careers right now, or just general words of advice. They're here to help us and would love to answer any questions we have.
after our keynote speaker this morning, you will attend the 3 panel sessions to your schedule you received in the hall. The location of each panel session is at the bottom of your schedules. Please be on time to your panel sessions and to lunch in the lobby. Attendance will be taken at all of the panel sessions and at lunch.
We now have the pleasure to introduce Allison Porch, President of the Kinkaid Young Professionals Organization and Kinkaid graduate from the class of 2003.
Good morning. It's my pleasure as President of Kinkaid Young Professional Organization, KYPO, to welcome you all to the 8th Annual Alumni Leadership Day. Kinkaid Young Professionals Organization was created for alumni up to 15 years from their high school graduation to explore Houston's diverse professional culture and create unique networking opportunities through Kinkaid Connections. The KYPO board consists of 20 members from the classes of 1999 through 2008, a boy and a girl from each class. And we are spearheading today's program, which is designed to bring over 60 outstanding alums that are sitting behind you to spend time with you guys to explore aspects of life and leadership after Kinkaid. This year, I have the privilege of introducing today's keynote speaker, Mrs. Leslie Frankel Wiener. Not only is Leslie a Kinkaid alumna, but she's also a fellow graduate from my class and probably one of my oldest friends growing up. So during her time at Kinkaid, Leslie was involved in lots of activities, probably some that all of you are involved in today: volleyball, soccer, swimming, softball, photography. She also was the president of SOC, Spirit of Kinkaid, senior year, and she was involved with Safe Rides. After Kinkaid, Leslie attended the Honors College of Tulane University, New Orleans, where she graduated magna cum laude with a degree in psychology. After graduating, Leslie earned her master's and PhD studying child development at the University of Texas at Austin. She then returned to Houston to complete, she then returned to Houston to complete a 2-year postdoctoral fellowship at the Children's Nutrition Research Center at Baylor College of Medicine. Her research at Baylor focused on parent-child relationships and the influence of parent-child interactions on children's eating behaviors. Leslie is currently a visiting assistant professor in the Educational Psychology Department at the University of Houston. It's now my pleasure to introduce the new Mrs. Leslie Frankel Wiener.
Thanks, Allison. The Harvard Business School defines leadership as making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. Each of you sitting in this room has the potential to do this. Each of you in this room has the potential to be a leader. There's room in this world for each of you to be a leader and make sure this world is a better place as a result of your presence. Unfortunately, you cannot be a leader until you know and you've found out who you really are. You are very lucky to be at a school where you can begin to find yourself, find your talents, and find your passions in life. There's so many opportunities for you to do that at Kinkaid, whether it's in musical theater, in photography, in sports, or in the classroom. You have a chance to explore and find yourself. I did that early on in high school through photography. Although my photos these days are usually through the lens of my iPhone, I believe that having Mr. Veselka as a teacher has made me a better college professor. He was an incredible role model and inspiration, and I hope to impact students a fraction of the way that he has impacted me. Mr. Veselka epitomizes the definition of leadership that I went over in the beginning. Yes, he taught us all about f-stops and apertures, and some of the people in my class even have pursued successful careers in the arts due to his influence. But something that impresses me even more about Mr. Veselka is that he is just such an incredible person with so much integrity that it was almost impossible to take his class and not have that rub off on you. Even though we graduated over a decade ago, and many of us have not seen him since high school, he still has a profound impact on my life and the life of many of my classmates. I tried to think about the advice I could go back and tell the high school version of myself, and I came up with this list of the top 10 things I wish I had known. First off, you only have 6 months left. Make the most of it. You will realize that the teachers from Kinkaid are some of the most impressive, kind individuals you will ever meet. Don't let that opportunity to get to know them and really learn from them get away from you. Look around you. The same goes for your peers. You will soon be scattered throughout the country. Take the time to become close with a few new people in your class. Put away your differences. I promise you will really be amazed 10 years from now with the people you keep up from high school and even with the people who you don't. 2, don't let the man get you down. You guys might be too young to even know this reference from a movie called Empire Records. But really, there are 2 forms of criticism in life. There's constructive criticism and there's destructive criticism. Pay attention to criticism, especially if it's constructive. If more than one person is saying the same thing, it's probably important. If they're trying to help you, use it as an opportunity to grow. There's also destructive criticism. It's a big, scary world out there. You'll find out that not everybody is on your side. If someone is just trying to hurt you, don't let that happen and reevaluate your relationship with that person. 3, it takes a while to find yourself. When I began as a freshman at Tulane, I wanted to join a club. I'm not good at frisbee golf, and I really lack any impressive hobbies. So I went the political route. I joined the Young Republicans Club. As I sat through that first meeting with my brand new Young Republicans t-shirt on, I had a realization. Yes, the t-shirt was very cute, but as I listened to the topics discussed at the first meeting, I realized one important detail. I'm not a Republican. I often look back at that and laugh, but in reality, it wasn't that ridiculous to not know at 18 how I felt about big political issues. It takes a while to find yourself. You guys have just begun to do that. But the thing to keep in mind is that you have just begun. 4, always step up to the plate. When Tom Moore called me about speaking today, I had a few hesitations. Basically, I got married less than a month ago, and at the time, it seemed a little too close to my impending wedding. It also seemed a little too close to the end of my semester of teaching, and when things tend to get pretty hectic at work. In reality, I knew I had to say yes, because it's a great opportunity, and I firmly believe that you cannot let a great opportunity pass you by. 5, don't dwell on your weaknesses. I have a confession. I took Spanish 1 twice. I know what you're thinking. Is that even possible? Sí, es posible. You see, I wasn't valedictorian of my class at Kinkaid. I know I wasn't even close. I had my share of struggles getting through the academic coursework at Kinkaid, but I can say without any hesitation that those challenges have prepared me for my years beyond Kinkaid. Just by graduating from here, you are prepared academically for the coursework in college. If Kinkaid has taught me one thing, it is the value of hard work and determination. When I left this school, I left with the ability and confidence to manage the challenges presented to me in college, graduate school, a postdoctoral fellowship, and now the real world. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I really thought Kinkaid was hard. Perhaps you were picking up on that by the very fact that I took Spanish 1 those times. I never felt exceptional at Kinkaid because everyone around me was so brilliant and talented. But Kinkaid gave me everything I could ever need to find out what is fulfilling to me and to chase my dreams. It has done the same for you as well. While I'm being honest, even though you might not be the person in this room who's identified with my academic struggles, or you might even be the person in this room who sneaks off before Honors Day assembly to stretch your hamstrings, you probably struggle with something. As I said before, there's room in this world for each of you to be a leader. To do so, you have to control the controllables. You have to find yourself, find your strengths, and play to your strengths. If you can manage to work on your weaknesses and improve in those areas, that's fantastic. But you will not get anywhere dwelling on those weaknesses. You just won't. It's perfectly fine if you weren't sure what career panel you wanted to attend today. For those of you who are a little unsure, all you have to do is follow your gut and really put some thought into what kind of person you want to be, what kind of career you want to have, and what kind of mark you want to leave on this world through your leadership. You might already know this. It might be clear at the end of the day, but it could also be something you won't be sure about for years. That's totally fine. What matters is that you pave your way for your own success. And that brings me to my next point, number 6. College is your chance to achieve success. Really think about the opportunities that you have in college. Really think about your decisions and what the long-term consequences of those are. For example, I went to college in New Orleans with my twin sister. Trust me, it was really fun. However, there were many times that my sister and I said no to going out. I know, looking back, that staying home and studying some of those nights is what got us both into grad school and both where we are today. You absolutely can and should have fun in college, but you owe it to yourself to make the most of those 4 years. While that does include having fun, it's also important to make sure you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of success. 7, I really wish I had known in high school that college is a completely fresh start. You will soon find out where you got into college. I was dealt what my family and I perceived to be a blow when I applied to college. My grandfather, parents, and one of my brothers all attended the University of Texas at Austin. My twin sister even got into UT for college, but I did not. At the time, this felt very horrible. To this day, it's one of the harshest realities I've ever had to deal with. To be honest, I question even putting it in my speech because it's so personal, but at the risk of sounding like a huge Debbie Downer, I know some of you might not get into your top choice for college, and my experience might help you. Looking back, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. There's a reason I went to Tulane, and it was an incredible experience. There's probably a reason I ended up back at UT for graduate school. You clearly know by now how firmly I believe that you must try your hardest and give every endeavor your all. However, you might not get into your top choice for college. Don't let that define you. Don't let an admissions board define you. Remember before when I said, don't let the man get you down? I guess that's such good advice that it deserves repeating. When I went to Tulane, no one ever asked me if it was my top choice or my second choice. No one asked me what grade I made in high school Spanish or how many times I had to take it. Your GPA starts over in college. So does your reputation, so do your circle of friends. I know I'm living proof of this because I was able to graduate magna cum laude from college and get a master's and PhD from the very school that I didn't get into for my undergrad degree. 8, The most important leadership advice I can give you is to be someone you want to work with. Don't stab backs, don't cut corners, and do not make enemies. Do what you love what you do, and be honest with yourself and with others. It may take longer to get where you want to go the right way, a way that you can be proud of, but it will pay off in the end. 9, do what you want to do. Do what excites you. Take those college classes that you're interested in. You will probably do better in them because you're interested, and it could lead you in wonderful directions in life. Take your passions and make those passions into a career. Do you love arguing? Become a lawyer. Do you love counting money? Become an accountant. Do you love something more obscure? That's okay too. For example, I love babies. I have managed to take countless college classes in babies, write a dissertation on babies, and now even teach college classes on babies. Lastly, I wanted to leave you with this little piece of advice. Leaders don't have to be big, they don't necessarily have to be bold, and they certainly don't have to be dramatic. At best, leaders are genuine and altruistic. You don't have to be the president to be a leader. You might be a leader on a smaller scale. You might be the leader of a team or of a classroom. Back to the Harvard definition that I shared with you earlier, it's making others better as a result of your presence. Find the things you care about and commit to those things. If you haven't found the things that you care about, that's okay. You don't have to know now what you're doing after college. You might even think you know now and might end up changing your mind along the way. What really matters is that you find what you enjoy and what you're good at. Because if you do what you love and enjoy and what you're good at, I promise other people in this world will be better because of you. All right, does anyone have any questions? Yes.
What was the application process like to get into UT for your graduate studies?
Oh, goodness. Okay. So the application for graduate school, I can't speak to med school or dental school or anything like that, but for psychology programs, developmental programs, it was you take your GRE, and I would strongly recommend if anyone's interested in going to grad school to take that while you're still in college and still in that mentality. Then GRE is very similar to the SAT. So you take that, and you also need letters of recommendation from people who are professors at a college or people who you've worked with. And then you write essays talking about why you think you're a good fit for that program. And I can say, because I have been in universities for a while and I've written letters of recommendation. In fact, just yesterday I denied writing one. But the thing that helps people is when you go to that professor and you say, hey, can you write me a letter of recommendation? And they know who you are. So that's a really important thing. So you'll see in college, you don't have the benefit always of having those small classes that you had in high school. It sort of takes some effort to get to know the professor. And honestly, if you went to a place like Kinkaid, you feel sort of enabled to do that. And you feel like powerful enough to go speak to them if you have a question or talk to them if you find their research interesting. So the biggest barrier to a lot of people entering graduate school is that they don't actually know any professors, and the professors don't know them well enough to write a nice letter on their behalf. That's the hardest. Yes?
Can you talk about your transition from college into getting or into your career? What about how your work methods changed or carried over?
Mm-hmm. So I really think that the work ethic you have from high school does carry over to college, and that from college carries over into a career. I guess I'm an odd person to be speaking to this because I just finished my training, and now I'm at the very beginning of my career. But I have to, pretty much none of my work methods have changed. I still do the same amount of studying and preparing as I did before that I did when I was in college. So now I teach I teach college classes, so the only difference is that I now have to really know the material, or else people question that. Yes?
When you first started studying babies, did you have, did you know you wanted to be a professor through that, or did you have a career in mind?
I don't really know. Okay, my twin is behind me, and I always tell her, oh, I always knew I wanted to do this, and she says, no, you didn't. I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't know I wanted to be, a college teacher until I went to, actually in high school I took psychology, and I loved it. And in college I happened to, I did well enough my first few semesters that I was able to do an honors thesis, and I did that with a professor, Jeffrey Lockman, he studies infant motor coordination, which is an obscure area of psychology. And I was able to do research with him, and I knew I wanted to continue studying infants and toddlers, but I knew I wanted to probably study something different than motor coordination. Yes?
Did you know in high school that you wanted to go into psychology?
I think so. I think I declared a major pretty early in college. I was deciding between psychology and education, and that's one thing I think is important. If you guys, so really, I know I said this, but it really is important. If you think, if you're interested in things, try to take those courses in college, because you'll either find out that it's really boring or that it really is interesting to you. So if it's something that's interesting, you can keep taking classes in that area, and you might find, if you write down today, or obviously you have written down today what you think you're interested in, it would be really interesting to go back 4 years from now and see if that's what you actually want to do. If you read the bios of the people who are coming, some people took a linear path to where they are right now, but some people deviated, and they probably didn't know exactly, when they went to undergrad, what they're doing today. So it's an interesting thing, but what you have to do, what's really important to get to where you want to go, is you have to do really well. You have to start college with really good grades. If you start college with, a bad GPA, it's really hard to get into grad school. It's really hard to declare certain majors, so you have to start out real strong. Okay, so you guys, I think you have in front of you the list of where you're going. So hopefully you know where that is, 'cause I'm not sure. But you can now go on to your